Yeah, we had a guest on our podcast recently, and he said that they celebrate their failures, and that
Hmm.
really changed my perspective on failure. I mean, of course, it's changed over time as an entrepreneur naturally, but
Right,
to
right.
celebrate not just the wins, but to celebrate the failures, it's just, and one big takeaway from that is that now they're when they do fail, it's a different mindset, or they learn, or what happened is a different um, size. It's not, something that would have been something catastrophic is, hey, you know what? This has happened to us before, and this actually is a little bit less than that. Now we know how to overcome it. We've celebrated this
Right,
before. Let's do it
right.
again.
I
So
mean, it allows you to go so much faster when you're not afraid to fail and like overdoing things to make them less likely to fail. When in fact, you might be doing it wrong. Like maybe it's going to fail anyway, you know? So, I mean, I don't know who you were talking to, but there's a company called Orbit Fab here in Colorado also. And they have a
mhm.
wall of failure that they have where they actually have like pictures of things they tried that didn't work. And they have a little story about what it was. And that's like, they don't just celebrate it in a meeting, but they actually put it on the wall to say like, here's how we celebrate. It's not celebrating failure. It's like it's
Wow.
celebrating risk taking, in a
Yeah, so it was Alex Johnston, who's the head of global operations and finance for an app called Glorify. They're like the number one devotional app on on the apps. It's very very interesting, very smart guy. So but a different industry, but still applies across the
totally.
board.
Yeah.
Tons
And it
to build
removes
on.
that shame element that could creep in if you feel bad about like being responsible for an initiative that didn't work. I don't want people to wallow in shame. I want them to be like, okay, this happened. Let's look at what we can learn from it and, move on and do the next thing. Not be afraid.
Yeah,
Stay moving.
especially the resource side of it. Oh, whether it's money or resources or material, um, everything can be rebuilt. That's the well, not everything. I don't want to use absolutes, but most things
Right.
can be rebuilt. So tons to build on. You know, in all of our podcasts, we ask about this growth under pressure moment, and you more than anyone have gone through those pivots,
Mhm.
going in industry to industry, learning curves, taking big risks, now in, one of the highest stakes industries. Can you think of one or two growth under pressure moments where you're like, I'm not sure what tomorrow looks like?
I mean, I could probably think of a dozen, but I thought about this a little before. I think there's two that are kind of interesting. So I'll go back to when I was at the Air Force Academy. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't stay in the military, but I was there for 2 years and 2 months. I went through freshman year, which is where the hard year where you're treated differently than the other cadets and really put under pressure, right? And there's this thing they do at the end called recognition. So when I was there in 90, this would be 96, 97 that year. Like your freshman year lasted from basic training, which started in June, I think, and then went all the way until March, which was recognition. And once you're
Mhm.
recognized, now you're an upperclassman. You're treated like an equal, and you've made it. You belong here now. And up to that point, you're proving yourself whether you belong there or not. And so, but recognition weekend is that some other place you might hear about like Hell Week or whatever, and it's one of those kind of things where they just push you so hard. Like you've been pushed the whole year, but now you're getting extra pushed. But you also kind of know you're almost at the end. So there's a double thing there. Like you know that if you can just stick it out and it's through this hard moment, you have a light at the end of the rainbow. And the first day out of four, like it doesn't seem so close, but as you get to the third day, now it's starting like, okay, I can feel it now. Now it almost is kind of fun to be pushed hard, right? But what I noticed in that experience, even though I left in the end after the next year of school there, that really showed me like I went way past what I thought my physical limitations. Like I got to the physical limitation I thought was there, and it just was, and we just kept going like days past it. And it was just the thing there wasn't how far I could get. It was mostly just that whatever I think my limit is not probably not my limit. If it doesn't kill me, it's probably not my limit. And so uh, that I think really stuck in the back of my head as a foundational just realization that you can do a lot more than your, like those monkey mind kind of stories that spin around in your head that telling you can't do something. You can do a lot more than they can do, and you can do a lot more than you think you can do, even when you're in the best mind state. And so that has been just a pressure cooker moment that helped me out ongoing.